way too early, and then I want to go to bed way too early. So I got to get this figured out.
You're still standard, huh?
I'm still standard, but it's getting tougher and tougher. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It is playoff, folks. We have ran through the regular season. It's playoff time. We're very happy to say, as we always are, there's a lot of Rutherford County teams in the playoffs. We're going to look at the brackets tonight. We're going to talk about the road that different people have. Some people say that the road that some of our teams is very, very challenging, and we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll look at, we heard in the break, the Titans, Will Levis. Do we want him to start? We did. He didn't start and we won. Maybe if you're looking for a draft pick, you want him to start. We'll see. Big news coming out of Knoxville today that we'll talk about later, and it has nothing to do with the football game itself. And then the Mr. Football Award was announced today, and we've got a Rutherford County young man up for that award. But tonight, as every night, our show is sponsored by Ida's Tees, the place in Rutherford County for school spirit wear, screen printing, embroidery, specialty items, and more. Plus a bottle of your officially licensed MTSU Blue Raider merchandise from Raider Tees. Big game this weekend at 12 o'clock. For Blue Raider Tees, polos, hats, and more, visit their showroom at 910 Ridgely Road. Just turn off Broad Street between Chewy's and Chili's. Ida's Tees can put your logo on just about anything. Stop in and see how they can help you promote your favorite team, workplace, or organization. Find out more online at idastees.com.
Since 1966, Fans Heating and Air has been a symbol of quality for Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. For friendly, complete service on Amana, Bryant, or American Standard Heating and Air products, Fans will do it all. Sell you your choice of products and then install it with their factory-trained, experienced, professional staff. In the unlikely event you need service, Fans will be there with trained technicians. Fans Heating and Air is located on Jayhawk Court. Call 615-893-7930. Fans Heating and Air.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door and hope you find the customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed Supply caters to all homeowners with a quarter acre to several acres, focusing on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
And yes, you can even get milk from the MTSU dairy at Las Casas Feed Supply, the best milk in town. Las Casas Feed on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
It's football time in Tennessee. Of course, that means tailgating and travel. Don't fumble due to a poorly maintained vehicle. At Dr. Automotive, we're here to help you score, whether it be a length of the field drive or a quick pick six. We'll help you tackle brake repair, heating issues, battery needs, and maintenance as you march downfield. We're on your team and here to make sure that you're ready for the big game. At Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Go deep.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, we're back. Rod Edwards and myself. We're actually going to start talking a little baseball. It's supposed to be hot stove season, but I wrote down the stove's kind of cold right now.
It is. It just takes a while to get going first. I think they're now free agency started 2 days ago or
Yep.
2 days ago. So it hasn't been long enough to really get something going unless somebody's been cheating and making contact while they weren't supposed to.
Well, they're talking, and I'm sure they're all waiting for the big dominoes to fall. Biggest domino, of course, is Juan Soto. Played for the Yankees. Don't know if he'll be back with the Yankees or not. If he's going to chase the money, rumors is $500, $600, $700 million, Ron.
Too much.
That is too much. That's what I would take it if somebody gave it to me.
Yeah, but
I'll take it.
I wouldn't pay it.
Well, of course, if you're going to get to that kind of money, you're talking Mets, Yankees.
How can you guarantee health?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't know if the Dodgers have got any more money to spend because they're pretty booked right now. So that'll be interesting. Other big potential free agents: Corbin Burns, right-handed pitcher from the Orioles; Blake Snell, left-handed pitcher, opted out of his contract with the Giants; Alex. Is it Bergman? Is that how you say it for the Astros?
Yes, Bergman.
And then, of course, John's not going to be happy, but Max Fried is a free agent for the Braves. And somebody's going to pay him too.
Yes, they will. And I think the Braves probably are not up to that level right now. They can, but I don't think they will.
You don't think they will? And
he's been injured so much too. Think about it. Have you got enough for the bucks you spent? Because he's been out almost 2 seasons.
And the Braves, I don't know who they picked up, but I know they were active very early when it first started over. No big names, but got a couple pitchers to throw in their bullpen. Your Cardinals, are they going to spend money?
No. In fact, they're going to cut back, and so they've actually there's some that's still in contract, like Gray and Arenado, and they're asking them, do you want to be with us while we try to rebuild, or would you want us to try to find you a place to go? So they're talking to him about it.
Oh, wow. Sonny could be
I've
on the
heard
move.
Goldschmidt is a free agent. They're letting him go, and they're talking about Contreras playing first base, and one of their younger guys catch.
Really? Oh, wow. Well, maybe Sonny can head down to Atlanta. See about that. That'd be fun.
But I like for him to help teach our young kids.
Yeah, and he may be at the point in his career where, if you'll,
They were talking about Cincinnati's a possibility, Braves a possibility, because he wants to be close to home.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's old enough now and got enough experience where he can pick and choose a little bit. People will want him. He might take a little bit less money, but I think he's in pretty good shape. Now, speaking of the Titans, not sure they're in good shape, but they did get a win, Rod. We won a game.
Yes, and they played hard, and it showed some guts, because my feeling was when they scored on that Hail Mary almost, going down. I couldn't believe it. He was there for about 15 seconds before they took him down, and they connected up. Here it goes again.
That's exactly what I thought. Here we go again. So I was going from, yay, the Titans are winning. Oh no, now we're not going to get as good of a draft pick. But the Titans are winning. But now there's nine teams right now with 2 wins, and Carolina won. So the 2 teams with the worst records, us and the Panthers, both won this week. So you just never know. So
what I did like was our offensive line was just running over their defensive line. I mean, they really moved the ball down the field until we had the bad snap with a replacement center, because the starting center got injured.
So 400 yards total offense for the Titans, not bad at all. 5.5 yards per play Sunday in that 2017 overtime win over New England's not a very good team, but hey.
That's true.
Again, we'll take it.
Right.
So they got Calvin Ridley going. Tony Pollard keeps doing well. So you got to like those things. Westbrook Akine, he continues to score touchdowns, which you like. So the Titans could be turning a corner a little bit. How much remains to be seen. We got to go on the road. We got to go to L.A. this weekend, Rod.
Yes. I think that's a team that's beatable, but it's going to be harder because you are on the road. Well, especially with a lot of young players.
Yeah, and the road and the Titans hadn't been really very good lately. So, again, you got to decide which side of the boat you want to rock on, folks. Do you want a draft pick or you want some wins? I mean, we're sitting at 2-6. I think that's right, 2-6.
Don't you think they have to put Levis in now for a while, let him – because things are looking better offensive line. In fact, the last think it's the last 5 games they had the fewest sacks in the NFL. And so before he was running for his life last year. And give him some time, because you got to make a decision. Do we draft another quarterback, or does he have the potential to be a leader?
Well, we could be sitting here next week, though, Rod, talking about, well, we put him in, we lost. We should have left Rudolph in. See, look, it's, so, I mean, they're dealing with a young man's psyche right here. They've held him out, I think, longer than they had to on purpose, just to be in my personal opinion. And they're going to put him, against L.A., so we shall see. But if he has a poor outing, I mean, he could be digging, unfortunately, his pro grave pretty quickly.
And a lot of it is mental maturity, is what you're looking at. I mean, last year, everybody thought he showed the potential. He stood in there and took a beating, but he seemed to have more control. But maybe that affected him more than we thought. He's jittery, just won't try to force it and make the super play instead of playing within himself.
Well, and I think that's the key for him, right? I think he has a hard time playing within himself and letting everybody else make plays and not worrying about trying to do it all by himself. Big thing there again, though, if he plays, if we don't win, does that make that decision? You give him a couple games. They wanted to get him healthy. I understand that, but I think they're playing with him with kid gloves. You just got to throw him out there and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. It's time now. Kid gloves over. Can you do it or you can't?
Yep, because I said we got to make a decision, and this time frame, whether it's baseball, basketball, or football in the pro leagues, they're getting we'll give you a year, we'll give you 2. It's not 4 or 5 anymore. Mm-hmm. That's coaches, players, all of them.
Like McNair, he had 4 years to develop before he actually took over. And in fact, his first year he was starting, he was out with injury. He had a backup quarterback. I think it was Donovan, and they did well. And people were saying, "Don't put him back in." But we saw what happened when he did go back in. So you just don't know how it's going to work out. But now you got to make it right away, or you're out of luck.
Well, again, it doesn't help when the rookie quarterbacks that are out there. You got a Bo Nix at Denver doing pretty good. You got the guy at Chicago playing well, Washington playing well. That doesn't help his case either when those guys are making plays and doing things. Other pro news, the Preds still losing, still in last place in the Central Division. They've got to speak a turnaround. They've got to do something quicker. They're going to get buried in the Central Division, and playoffs won't even be a part of their conversation. Moving over to MTSU. MTSU picked up a win on the road, which they haven't done in 10-plus games. Went out to El Paso, Texas, 2013 over UTEP. Good job there. Played very well in all phases of the game. And it was good to see Coach Mason and his squad get a road win.
Yes, and so, to me, that's a confidence builder. That especially the defense did a really good job, because at times they've got blown out this season, and so things are kind of getting steadier. And like you said, all phases of the game, they looked much better. It was enjoyable to watch them play.
Absolutely. They've got Liberty coming to town this weekend. 12 o'clock kickoff. Liberty started out 5-0. Liberty was a lot of people's Conference USA pick, possible, one of those teams that could sneak into discussion of the college football playoffs. But they've lost their last 2, including losing to winless Kennesaw State 2 weeks ago. The turnaround loss to Jacksonville State this past week. So they've been struggling for a couple of weeks. Could this be a game where the Blue Raiders surprise them?
It could be, because the Blue Raiders beat Kennesaw State. And Kennesaw State, I don't think they had won a game until that.
They were winless.
So you never know.
Never know.
It's a crazy year. Look at Vandy, how they're playing.
Oh, we're going to get to Vandy in a minute.
Okay, I can't wait.
Can't wait, because they keep winning. They're back in the top 25 as well. MTSU, that game Saturday, it is a big matchup for them. Again, a couple of things. If you want to get there early, they have the party in the Grove at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, pregame picnic and Vet Village this weekend starting at 9:30. That's free to all veterans, active duty service members, and their families, because they are recognizing veterans this weekend at the football game. Big event there for the veterans and armed service game for MTSU. MTSU's got to win all 3 now to get to 6-6. That sounded crazy to have this conversation, but with a win, you never know. So Saturday's game's big. Raider Walks at 9:45. The Family Fun Zone opens at 10:30. And then the pregame at 11:30. All this can be heard on WGNS for Blue Raider football on Saturday. Basketball has started. We're in that window, and basketball's starting. Both the men and women had big wins this past week for their opening games, Rod.
Well, the women, they really had a great season last year. Basically, I think you're probably hoping they can match it.
It'd be a tough.
Be great if they can.
Be a tough match, but they started out good against Northern Kentucky. If you happen to listen to WGNS last week, and I tried to warn you folks, that loud, high-pitched screaming was all those 4th and 5th graders from Rutherford County schools. And my teachers came back, and it's like, I can't hear. I said, what, huh? What'd you say? Can't hear, huh? Can't hear. I tried to tell y'all to take some earbuds or something in your ears, and it was loud, high-pitched screaming. I asked the kids how the game went. Oh, they blew them out. I said, you see any dunks? Yeah, Dr. Blair, yeah, I saw some dunks. They was good. Those dunks were good. So Blue Raiders are off and running. So are the Lady Raiders. Lady Raiders are in action tomorrow night if you get a chance to go out there and you want to see that. And you can get a clear bag, MTSU clear bag, and a women's poster giveaways from the Lady Raiders. All right. So we talked about MTSU. We're going to move to your favorite subject, Rod, the Vanderbilt Commodores, who I picked against. I'll admit it. Sorry, Dr. Sullivan, I picked against them.
Well, I had faith.
Well, it was on the road. It's one of those games you think they could get this game, but I still got that, is Vandy going to be Vandy? But they're not.
Well, Pavla has Drew Brees' number. He beat him when he was at, was it New Mexico State? And then he also beat him here with the Vandy boys.
They have worn that out this week, if you haven't seen it, talking about Diego Pavla owning Alabama and owning, of course, the Auburn Tigers coach, because he beats him everywhere he's been so far, which is hilarious. It's fun. It's fun.
And this is the kid that nobody wanted him. He went to junior college to start out, and he's worked his way up to this level. So people out there, don't give up.
Well, that's what he said. He said, I got to beat one of the teams that wasn't interested in recruiting me. I said a lot of people didn't want to take a chance. They're just another team that I want to make pay for what they did. Auburn's struggling.
They are.
I mean, they're struggling. That's rough. But, I mean, it's so excited about Vanderbilt. They became bowl eligible, of course. And it's been since 1955, first time they've beaten Alabama and Auburn in the same season. Now, I was not alive to see that, gentlemen. Y'all looking at me over there. 1955 since then. But, yeah, Hugh Freeze is owned by Diego Pava and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt this week, who they got? Oh, they hosting South Carolina. Now, that was a crazy game. South Carolina, who's been down in the dumps, turned around and beats Texas A&M.
Yes.
But
Texas A&M was undefeated in the SEC.
And right? I pretty much called that because I felt bad about what they did to my Vols a couple years ago. So that's a good South Carolina team coming in. But, again, I think most people think Vanderbilt can play with them.
Yeah. Well, right now I think college football, as far as the level of play, is really evened out. And you really almost have to, like in the SEC, respect every team in the SEC because they're all going to get athletes. And we've had a lot of close games that we didn't expect. I mean, Kentucky took Georgia to the end of the game. And these are things that you don't expect out of it, but it seems like they're more balanced.
Well, it's every week, as Coach says, is a new season. You got to be prepared for it. All right, we got to prepare for some breaks. We come back. We got a lot of Vols news.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure that your goals are top of mind. While you can't control market volatility, we'll help focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Little Caesars, get a large custom 2-topping pizza for only $7.99 when you order online. Wait, did I just say $7.99? Get out of here! This pizza is only $7.99. No way! This is $7.99? You're joshing me. You're saying this pizza perfection is only $7.99? Well, you're crazy for this. Listen, pirate, stop taking my $7.99 pizza. Choose a large custom 2-topping pizza for the unbelievable price of $7.99 when you order online. Only $7.99. What?
Pizza. Parks Auction. We handle everything.
The auction is a means of drawing people together for a quick, easy sale.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. You know, you get instant sale, no contingencies and everything. I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Visit our website at parksauction.com to learn more.
Hi there, do I have a home now? Call Parks Auction at 896-4600. Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
Sold it to you. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, let's talk about news coming out of Knoxville. Big news today, if you haven't heard. Voice of the Vols, Bob Kessling, has officially retired at 70 years old. That will be in effect after basketball season. He says he wants to be a full-time granddad. Can't blame him for that. I was talking with Rob before the show. Now, I'm a John Ward guy. I grew up with John Ward. I can't believe it's been as long as it has, 26 years, that Bob Kessling's been the voice of the Vols.
All right. I mean, when I moved here in '89, and that's all I heard for my first 10 years. And to me, John Ward was Tennessee football, just like you. And time flies.
Oh my gosh, time does fly. I can remember as a little kid laying out on the back porch listening to John Ward call football games, and that was mid-'70s, late '70s, and you know, he was my hero growing up as a kid. You knew him just as well as you knew the players, but the big question is, who's going to take his place? Now, option number one for most Vols fans, maybe not all Vol fans, is the guy right down the road calling the Tennessee Titan games, Mike Keith.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Mike would be interested in that job at this point because he's got a pretty good gig with the Titans. But, you know, for you folks that don't know, Mike Keith is a UT graduate. He started his career at UT working alongside Ward on the Vols radio network. He had a talk show in Knoxville for years in Knoxville. And so that's who I'd like to see. Like I said, I don't know if he'd go to Knoxville to do that. I'm sure there's pretty good money involved in that job if they offer it to him.
Right. Big decision because, I mean, he's also at the pro level and he's well-liked here. And,
oh, yeah.
And Nashville is kind of the center of the South almost for a city to go to.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, like I said, Mike Keith, he's a great announcer. I love listening to him. Other guys mentioned all have connections to the Vols. Of course, John Wilkerson, you hear him. He's the voice of Tennessee baseball. You'll hear him on football working around there as well. Roger Hoover is a name I didn't know. He's a UT grad, but he works for the Alabama Crimson Tide Sports Network. That's going to exit out for a lot of people, but he started his career with the Vols. Neil Price, he's the voice of the Bulldogs. Again, another Tennessee local guy out of Morristown, Tennessee. He's an MTSU graduate.
Oh, really?
Yep, Neil Price.
Coming out of their broadcasting program?
Yep, Middle Tennessee State from 02 to 05 is the name mentioned. And then Darren Hedrick, he's on the broadcast team at Kentucky. He's a Maryville native and UT graduate. So that's going to be a job a lot of people want. I'd love to have it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't do play-by-play. On the field, of course, the Vols picked up a win this past week over Kentucky to move to 7-1. Again, not pretty, Rod. It's not pretty.
No. It's just I would think the offense would be moving smoother than what it is.
Put up 28 points, but for Tennessee, that's nothing what they've been doing in the past. Started out very slow. We're trailing at halftime again. You know, we come out third quarter, did a few things. Dylan Sampson, thank goodness, got a couple of touchdowns. He's got 19 on the season, close to breaking that 20 barrier, obviously. You know, but I tell my friends and my Vol fans, I'll win ugly anytime.
Oh, yeah, especially with the teams that you're winning on.
Yeah,
beating.
I'll win ugly anytime.
Especially Alabama, right?
Alabama, Florida.
Would you like
Georgia in a couple of weeks?
Like
I'll win as ugly as you want to against Georgia coming up. We got Mississippi State this Saturday. If you're going to get your offensive rolling, Mississippi State is struggling, 0-5 in the SEC. It's time to get it done, Vols, on the offensive end.
Well, maybe we can get everything smoothed out offensively where you feel comfortable, and then we can carry that over into the tough games.
Well, we're just tired of saying, now, if we can get it all together, if's a big if. That's the problem. If you're an SEC fan and rooting for your teams, especially you Vol fans, you'd love to see Florida upset Texas. You might like to see Georgia make sure they don't lose to Ole Miss. That's going to be a heck of a game, Georgia and Ole Miss.
Yes.
Vanderbilt, I just don't like South Carolina. As much people think I don't like Vanderbilt, I love Vanderbilt 10 times out of the year, just not 11. Sorry. And then, of course, Alabama, LSU is a toss-up. Who you want to win, who you want to lose. You know, I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you want the teams you're playing to win. That strengthens your schedule.
That would help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody's looking for help right now because of the 12-team playoff. Tennessee was listed as 7, I believe, or 8, 7 or 8, with a first-round matchup against Indiana, which would be fantastic.
It would be a great game.
Indiana, they're having
both teams have good records, with
phenomenal
big crowd and Big Ten against the SEC.
Lots of football to go, but that'd be fun. What wouldn't be fun is going to Oregon in round 2. But there's a lot going to change the next few weeks before we even really get to the playoffs and things of that nature. So, there's upsets everywhere. Like I said, Tennessee, you can just keep winning ugly. I will keep yelling at the TV, and I will keep walking around the house in circles.
Did you know they got a good running back from Murfreesboro on Oregon?
Yes, they do.
Jordan James.
Yep, he's been playing well out of Oakland. And the Morris kid, who is already verbal to USC, has made a couple of road trips up to Knoxville, I've heard recently.
Oh, really?
So until you sign that,
Apple's starting to put the pressure on.
Huh? Trying to keep the local kids local. So I'm all for it. All right, let's move to high school football here for a minute. Let's look at last week. Some games didn't have playoff implications. Antioch beating Laverne last week. But let's talk about Laverne for a minute, Rod. So Coach Woodward stepped down after 5 years, I believe.
Mm-hmm. He was assistant a couple of years before that.
And so Mike Woodward's a great guy. Laverne, we've talked about it before. They've struggled over the last probably 10 years on the football side. And, it's hard to get the ball rolling in the program. But he was a super guy. Just, he said it's time for me to move on.
Yep.
And so, you got to tip your hat to the man. And
he worked hard at it, too.
Worked very hard at it. And, when you feel like, hey, let's let somebody else take it and run with it, he's going to, he said he would, do that. The funny thing was who they hired. They made a very quick hire, in-house. All I can think of is CJ because, his Mr. Johnson, but that's CJ Johnson's dad. Mm-hmm. CJ, of course, who plays for MTSU, played at Riverdale. His dad's been down there working with Laverne track and field, and now he's going to take over a football program.
Which was a little surprised that since he hasn't been in the football.
He's dabbled in football some, but he hasn't been a head coach at the level. What little I know of Mr. Johnson is probably more of knowing through CJ, the son. Mr. Johnson is a super guy. really big on young men and trying to grow them up in the right way and doing the right thing. And if you ask the school principal, that's probably the first job you want to make sure it's done.
Right.
I mean, you want wins and losses,
but you want to. Is probably it seemed what I heard her quote was she's very impressed with him, with how he's trying to train the young men, train him to get ready to be a young man.
And a lot of times you do those things first anyway as a coach. You'll see it pay off on the field as well.
Right, because then you're going to have self-control, discipline, learn to work together, start developing a brotherhood within your group, things that all go together to make a team.
Yep. So I think that was a good hire, and I think a no-brainer for her grabbing him in-house. Other games last week, PCA went down to Bell Buckle and ran into a buzzsaw there. You don't think of the feet being a football power, but they're getting better and better. Ryan Witzer, if I said his name right, tossed 6 touchdowns in the 50-point outburst over PCA. PCA, of course, still made the playoffs, but little struggle there at the end. The quarterback for PCA, of course, has continued to play well. Marks a couple touchdown throws, 5 touchdowns on the night, so good job there. Another team not in the playoffs, Siegel and Rockville played their last game last Friday night. Siegel won their finale, and that's a big thing for the program.
Right. Yeah. Well, number one, they got the quarterback back. You had 2 teams without quarterbacks the last couple games, and the team that got the quarterback back actually performed much better, especially on offense.
Yeah, Rockville turned it over 4 times, all interceptions. Both teams struggled with health, losing players throughout the year, so they kind of struggled there at the end. Coach Renshaw said, he had 126 kids in the program. They worked hard all year, and they only had 14 seniors. So if you got 126, you only got 14 seniors. He's got a really good junior class coming up, and he's excited about next year. Coach Guthrie also thought his team played well, but again, just had struggles and misfortune a lot of times during the year. Smyrna, big win over Cane Ridge, bounced back after that. Coffee County surprising Blackman, but you said, right, it is a lot of the weather caused the problems.
Apparently, they got natural turf, and there was, I think Blackman, from what I heard, first half had 4 fumbles, and those led to scores, and they ended up losing 19-7. And you can get on a sloppy field, you have trouble handling the ball. If you have a bad night, sometimes it's hard to make up, because you're not going to score quickly. Usually it's going to be a lot slower. Because I remember when I was playing in high school, it was sophomore year, it was a sophomore team. We played on a real muddy field, but it didn't start raining until the middle of the game. We were faster, we were ahead, we had 2 touchdowns, and then the big boys took over the second half, and we ended up tied.
Yeah, weather was a factor for everybody last Friday, but it was tough, I'm sure, down there on a sloppy field. But surprisingly, Blackman's not a big quick strike offense anyway. But
right. You get behind, it's hard to come back.
Get behind, and then you're behind on a sloppy field. Other games, Middle Tennessee Christian won over Ezel Harding. Eagleville continues to surprise people into this season over Cornersville. And Stewart's Creek kept it rolling there. The game you and I both saw, though, the last game we'll talk about real quick, was Battle of the Borough, and I'm going to say part 1 in 2024.
Mm-hmm. And we said that last year.
And
this was the expectation, I think, going in. Everybody figured that final game would decide who's going to win the regular season, and it did. But we have a different winner from last year, and we'll see what happens. Is it going to be Riverdale coming back like Oakland did last year and win that second game because they have that little extra there's just something extra that pushes you when you've lost in a close game.
Well, it was a real close game for a long time. You looked up and the scoreboard was 21-20, if I'm correct. Riverdale in the fourth quarter, and I thought, well, this is interesting. Next thing we know, Craig Tutt made the difference.
Yes, and actually Riverdale was really shutting down the run. They just were shutting everything down at that point, and then he just made one of those. He you didn't even think it was a hole there, but he made a hole. And once he got out in the open, he's really hard to bring down. He's probably one of the most competitive, skilled runners. He's a junior, and he's one that's going to be really sought after by SEC teams or other big colleges next year.
Yeah, he's a 2026 three-star player, and he's the gentleman, the only person in the area that's Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award possible winner. They got down to 5 today, they announced. And Craig Tutt from Oakland High School, congratulations. You're one of the 5 semifinalists that could possibly win Mr. Football. So not a surprise. I think, of course, it hurt Morris and Hill both being injured to be considered for the award. So Oakland, I don't know what the run is on them, how many times they've had either a player or a kicker in this in the last, 15 years.
That's true.
It's been a bunch. It's been a bunch. I got about a minute, but I also got a phone call, and I can talk to you after the break, too. Danny Brewer, are you through swimming?
No, the 400 freestyle relay is completing now. My duties are done as the meet starter, but Smyrna is taking it to PCA here, but they're just completing the last event now.
Now, did you keep your swimming streak going? I'm going to ask you every week.
The streak is going, baby. We're still alive.
Still alive, still going. Hey, real quickly, your Bulldogs got a big win last week. They needed it for confidence heading into the playoffs. Tough matchup, though, for the Bulldogs. We've got about 20 seconds. Tell us what your Bulldogs need to do before the break.
I think they need to punch somebody in the mouth. I think they're tough enough, and I think they got enough big play players to win the game, but you got to be tougher than Brentwood is, and you got to play smart football.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more with Danny Brewer and talk playoffs.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carryout or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go Blue!
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, we're talking high school playoffs with Danny Brewer. Smyrna 5-5 going to Brentwood 8-2. 2 losses to Brentwood Academy and Ravenwood. So Brentwood is really solid. Big test for the Bulldogs. The other local game down your way, Independence at Stewart's Creek. Danny, I think Stewart's Creek is still going to roll, don't you?
Well, I think that they should. I think that the important thing for the Creek to be is to be the Creek. You know, they need to take care of the football. And, you know, they've been really good defensively all year, and they've made it. They've got some big play players on offense, too. Got some speed. Quarterback's pretty dynamic. They just need to do what Stewart's Creek has done all year long, and I think they'll be just fine.
Caleb Floyd, more than 1,000 yards, total offense, 21 TDs for the Red Hawks. But the Red Hawks, Danny, have got to get over this hump. They have been in the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years and have not won one time.
Well, I think this is their first time of hosting a first-round game because, you know, I don't – now, last year they may have hosted first round. I'm not sure. But for the most part, they've always been the 3 or the 4 seed going in. And I think last year it was the same deal. They were the 3 seed. So they've had the road playoff game. This may be the first time they're hosting a first-round playoff game. And then that makes a big difference, you know, when you're the 1 playing the 4 versus the 3 playing the 2, you know.
Oh, absolutely. But that pressure of being the 1 is also there. But I'm like you, Danny. I think if Stewart's Creek will continue to just be who they are this year, they're going to be in great shape. Now, I'm going to stop on playoffs for a second. Give me a couple of minutes. You don't have a great tan, I know. But how was your trip to San Diego and the horse racing?
The Breeders' Cup, it was extremely good. You know, there were many fine avenues. You know, the competition was fantastic. The weather was outstanding. You know, I was able to do a lot of things journalistically as far as I was on a San Diego TV station, was on ESPN Radio 2 days on Friday and Saturday morning. So lots of good things happened. And we backed a horse and we got paid. Very nice.
Now, some people will know this reference. Did you stay classy when you was on the TV in San Diego?
Of course I did.
Of course you did. Hey, are you gonna be at a game tomorrow night?
I'll be at Smyrna Brentwood.
You're going to Brentwood. Okay. All right. So you'll get updates on the Bulldogs from Danny Brewer tomorrow night here on WGNS. WGNS is going to be at Stewart's Creek game tomorrow night when they host Independence. Well, thanks, Danny, for joining me. We'll talk soon.
All right. I appreciate you, Clark, and y'all have a great time, and best of luck to the Warriors tomorrow night hosting Cookeville.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Danny Brewer from the Smyrna Swim Meet out in the pool. And
he could have done that out in the game last Friday.
Well, that's true.
If he stayed here, he could have swam here.
He sure could have. All right. Let's look at some brackets here. Let's start with Division II Single A. We've already mentioned that both Middle Tennessee Christian and Providence Christian are both in it, both hosting. Providence Christian is actually hosting here in a few minutes. Their kickoff is tonight.
Oh, really?
At 7 o'clock over at MTSU. I guess MTSU is trying to get them on moving.
Right.
Because of their game coming up this weekend. And so they're hosting Franklin Grace tonight. Franklin Grace 4 and 6. Everybody feels pretty confident about Providence Christian. Middle Tennessee Christian, they host Fayette Academy. Fayette, very close to Memphis. That's a heck of a road trip tomorrow night to come to Murfreesboro. The problem for both Middle Tennessee Christian and Providence is not this game, Rod. It's the next game.
The next game, right.
And so they're looking at...
They're going to travel, too, the next game.
They're going to travel. Providence would have to travel to Jackson Christian, and Middle Tennessee Christian would have to probably travel to Nashville Christian. Both those teams sitting at 9-1. So
I think Nashville Christian is rated number 1 in that bracket.
Yeah.
Preseason poll is supposed to have an outstanding quarterback.
So let's get that win this weekend, guys, and then we'll worry about next week.
Have fun this week.
That's right. Have fun this week. In Single A, the Eagles, who are the number 2. We didn't see that coming, but over the last couple of weeks, they've made that climb. They are hosting Houston County tomorrow night. Houston County sitting at 7-3. That's going to be that's a toss-up, Ryan.
It is. Houston's number 2. They're coming out of the same district with McKenzie, who's been in the state championship game the last 4 years. Won 2 of them, lost 2 to who was that? South Pittsburgh both times. So, but I don't know how much difference there are with Houston. Houston has a running back has over 1,300 yards. But then the Eagleville has the running back Caleb Snitzer has 1,100 and some odd yards, so ought to be a good game.
Should be a real good game, leaning on the running game there. So, again, not trying to look ahead, but that's what Eagles got to look forward to most likely. If they get past round one, they're probably looking at McKenzie.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, and that's what playoffs is, though, folks.
Yeah.
If you're in the playoffs, there's a reason you're in the playoffs, but there's also a lot of good teams in the playoff. All right, moving over to 6A when we get all of our other local teams to look at. Oakland opens up at home against Lebanon. I think Oakland's got a pretty good run in them as far as these first couple of rounds are going. Lebanon, probably not much of a matchup. Tomorrow night, they have one of the Nashville's area top rushers in Harrison Edwards. But again, you're facing that Oakland defense.
Yeah, I like that last name, though.
You do like that last name?
Yeah.
The cousin Harrison or nephew Harrison. That is a good name for you, right?
Yeah.
He's having a great season for the Blue Devils. But
sounds like that's about all, though.
his season's fixing to be over, unfortunately, because he's playing the Patriots. Now, on the other side of the bracket, the team out of our region is Coffee County. When's the last time, and I don't know the answer, Rod, when's the last time Coffee County's made it into the playoffs when they're in the Murfreesboro group?
They made it once. They beat Stewart's Creek in the first round. That's about 2 to 3 years ago. And then they lost to Blackman at their place in the second round.
So you don't see that very often. Usually you got all four Rutherford County teams in there, but
right.
Coffee County's been pretty solid all year long. I mean, I know they're still just sitting at 5-5, but they, of course, beat the teams they had to beat to get to that 4 seed.
A lot of times they're pretty big and pretty fundamentally sound. They just don't have the great speed that a lot of our teams do.
Blackman, sitting at 5-5, is going against 10-0 Green Hill. But I think this is a toss-up.
Yes, I think it is too. Number one, Blackman has played, I think, five to six teams that are in the top 10 of the 6 AAA, and they're 5-5. So, and they played them close. Played Oakland 13-12. And Ravenwood, in number 1 seed right now, they lost 12-7. So, they're a tough game. But then I've heard good things from the Laverne coach. Mentioned that Green Hill was the best team that they'd seen all year. Very balanced team. So this ought to be a good dandy, especially since it's at Green Hill.
And, of course, I'm assuming they're playing on turf, so, of course, the weather's supposed to be fine tomorrow night. But you mentioned what I was looking at, too. They've lost to – and this is the Tennessee top 25. That covers all classifications. They've played number 2 Ravenwood, played them really well. Of course, they've played Oakland. They've played number 13 Riverdale. They've played number 17 Brentwood. And so, I mean, Blackman is battle-tested. Their schedule is second to none in any division. And so a lot of us are picking an upset tomorrow night.
Well, this is why you play those games, is for this moment. Now let's see what they can do with that moment in the playoffs.
Well, on the road, I'm sure Green Hill is going to have a great crowd. And I still like to see Blackman, sneak up and bring it back home for us for the next week. Of course, the winner of that game between Blackman and Green Hill will be who plays the winner of Cookeville Riverdale. I'll be there tomorrow night. Cookeville 8-2 coming to town. Riverdale 2 as well, 8-2. Cookeville's 2 losses came to Mount Juliet and Green Hill. Mm-hmm. That's why they're the number 3 seed. Riverdale's 2 losses, that early loss 7-0 to Beach, and then last week to Oakland. Again, a very good matchup. Cookeville has senior quarterback Blake Owen, which you mentioned has probably been there for 14 years as a high school student. And so he's completed 54 of 98 passes for 947 and 11 touchdowns. But he also is a rusher. He's a 1,200-yard rushing, attacking 16 touchdowns. So he's a dual threat that's going to go against this Riverdale defense.
One thing about the defense, you got one target to worry about.
That's true. Cookeville always brings a good-sized line. That's what we've talked about for years. So they've got a dynamic quarterback. So it'll be up to Riverdale to hold them down. Again, the weather should be good. That passing game that Riverdale tries to rely on quite a bit will be helped by the weather being good. But DJ Taylor's been running the ball really well. He ran great Friday night.
I know. They're in the middle of the game. He took over once they went to him, and he was the main feed. And he's one of those backs that you think he's going to be down, but he always gets 3 or 4 more yards after contact.
So he's been playing well. So again, tomorrow night, if you're looking for a game to go to, you've got Oakland at home. You've got Riverdale at home. You can go down to Stewart's Creek. They're at home. You can take the drive down 99 and go see Eagleville. Middle Tennessee Christian is at home. So there's a lot of good games of our local teams at home. If you can't get out, of course, tomorrow night again, you can listen to WGNS and listen to Stewart's Creek. I'll be giving updates on Riverdale. Danny will be giving updates on the Smyrna Bulldogs. So it's exciting times when playoffs get around and you see what's going on. All right, pigskin pick time. Looking at all those teams, we all went with Oakland. We had a mixed bag on the Blackman Green Hill. Danny and Rod went with Green Hill, which again is a good choice being at home. We all went with Riverdale, Stewart's Creek. Danny's sticking with the Smyrna Bulldogs because that's what Danny does. But Brentwood's going to be a tough out. We all went with Eagleville, PCA tonight, Middle Tennessee Christian. And if all of those win, we'll have still a lot of local teams in there. I'm still not on Vandy's bandwagon. I went with South Carolina. And so did Brian.
Well, you keep losing that bet.
I know. Well, I'm in last place. What does it matter? So I need to get on that. So I just don't need Vandy to win their last game this year. Everybody went with Liberty over the Blue Raiders because we knew what Liberty was supposed to be this year. But I think the Blue Raiders can sneak up and get them. We all went with the Vols. And you're going with the Titans. Is that right?
That's right.
Going with the Titans on the road.
But I didn't know that Levis was going to be here.
Hey, I still got time. It's not official. Let me scratch that out for you.
No, I'll get it out. Maybe I can pull an upset.
Pull out an upset? Well.
When you're behind, you might as well.
Well, I know, and I didn't do anything to try to get ahead because Brian's killing us all, beating us. Thanks a lot, Brian. Way to be a leader again. We appreciate that. And so that's just the way it goes sometimes. So again, lots of good local action tomorrow night. Let's talk about what's on WGNS this weekend real quick as we wind down. We've already mentioned the game tomorrow night. There's also MT women's basketball versus Grand Canyon. On Saturday, you'll have coaches' corners. Hopefully we're talking a lot of coaches who won their playoff game. Middle Tennessee football versus Liberty is that noon kickoff. And men's basketball, men's on the road at Abilene Christian on Saturday. On Mondays, the football coaches show with Coach Derek Mason at 6 o'clock. Next Tuesday night, talking about the Lady Raiders, they're going to Knoxville to face the Lady Vols.
Wow.
Lady Vols got a new coach. She likes to press. I like pressing. Did you ever press?
Oh, I loved it.
I love to press. When you got enough numbers, you can really do some damage.
Yeah.
And so that'll be a big test for the Lady Raiders going to Knoxville and taking on the Lady Vols next Tuesday. And then the men are back in action next Wednesday against the University of Evansville. So lots of stuff going on, folks. Again, if you can't get out, WGNS has got lots of stuff for you. Big G TV. I'm not sure. Is Big G going to be on tomorrow night? Does anybody know? No, that's a no from Stewart's Creek. I got a no.
I don't know.
I got an I don't know. Going with that.
I know we're streaming it.
We're streaming it.
MTSU women's basketball.
They may not be able to do it.
Yeah, because of MTSU women's basketball. So I just got to get people keep me.
Maybe not because of because it's TWSAA.
Yeah, playoffs. So
I'm not sure.
Again, that just shows you how little I know. So, but if there's a will, there's a way.
But that's okay. I know littler.
You can always get it through WGNS one way or another. We won't leave you hanging. Won't leave you hanging. All right, we're going to take our final break, and we'll be back to close out this Thursday night.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
Local business owners, you know how how important it is to be here for your customers. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton, and I run a small business in Rutherford County too, and I'm here to help you protect your small business. Call me at 615-895-2700.
Each team knows which play will be the winning move. I'm good neighbor State Farm Agent Dana Womack, and I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-900-0877 to make the winning move that can save you time and money.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment.
Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help. Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're at Rick's Barbecue talking with Anne-Marie Brents, who says they're ready to feed your entire crew with the family pack.
It's a pound of pork or any of our pulled meats, and then you get two 16-ounce sides, and then you get a bag of chips, which are plain or barbecue, and then the buns come with it, and then you get one of our drink choices, which is either a 2-liter of one of our sodas or a half-gallon of one of our teas.
And don't forget the famous Rick's Loaded Baked Potato.
That's the biggest potato you can get. They're right at 2 pounds.
Let Rick's Barbecue do the cooking, 212 Warrior Drive.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, let's put a wrap on this show for this Thursday night. Rod's going to talk a little cross-country action.
We got state tournaments, cross-country, or today, so they've already happened, and then tomorrow. We have some of the teams that have made it. There's Siegel High boys and Central Magnet boys, who both won regions. Siegel won the AAA regular Region 4 AAA. Central Magnet won the Region 4A AA. Blackman and Stewart's Creek boys also made the team because second and third place get to go. They were in the region. Central Magnet also had 7 of the top 10 finishers in their region. So to talk about dominating, that's so they're a powerhouse, and we'll see. They may have a chance at state. In the girls, we had Siegel and Stewart's Creek. Now Siegel, they weren't a winner of their region, but this is their 23rd straight year that they've been in state tournament, and the school's been only open. This is the 23rd year the school's been open. Wow. And then the Siegel boys, they've done this will be their 21st year out of the 23 years the school's been in existence.
Oh wow! I haven't seen any results today, but good luck to those teams and those individuals doing that. We were talking about a little bit about the bracket again. You know, looking at teams. We want to keep all the local teams in, but unfortunately, we'll start knocking each other out in the next couple of weeks. Again, Oakland could very well play if we stay in the district, Coffee County next week. Riverdale, talk about a big game before the Battle of the Borough Part 2 that people are looking for. You could have another Kreisky Bowl next week.
Yeah, that'd be exciting, wouldn't it?
That'd be exciting.
And this time it'd be at Riverdale. Last time it was at Blackman.
Yep, so that could be interesting as well. So playoff time's exciting, but you do start narrowing teams down. We just want to root for all Rutherford County teams to stay in as long as you can, because that just, number one, gives us something to talk about, but two, we get to talk about also in rooting for our kids. So again, all weekend long, WGNS Radio, stay tuned for all the action that you need. If you can't get out, it's going to be about 60 tomorrow night. Grab you a little sweatshirt. It'll be a beautiful night for football. We'll see you back again next Thursday night for Primetime Sports.